to go over today at least like some things about the settings for generic information, the customization options that I found, and then also some organizational topic options, as well as talk about what the different items are that you can attach and use with students. And oh, and I wanted to talk about this really cool new thing that I was experimenting with yesterday that is, I think, going to be a cool tool to help us like push out websites to kids. So we'll start with, I'll send you the code stuff, whatever, afterwards, because obviously, I don't know if this is on getting recorded. I don't know if everybody will join it, but so to start, here's the notifications information. Basically, when you are doing a Google Classroom, I found that I was annoyed by how much the stream was getting clogged up with every post that I made. So every time you make an assignment, it kind of doubles up and puts whatever your classwork assignment is into your stream. And I thought, what's the point of this? I don't even get it. Like, this is just a mess. But I realized that there are ways that you can change your settings. So when you go to Google Classroom and you have all of your classes listed, you have options with these little drop-down buttons here for things like making a copy of your class, whatever, renaming, but you also have two setting locations. And one of those is in the menu bar. So on the left-hand side, if you go to the bottom, you can go into your settings. And that's where you're going to work with your email notifications. So if you're getting bombarded with emails, this is where you go and you can turn it off for specific classes, or you can turn it off for the entire Google class. Like if I just said, forget it, I don't want any more emails at all, I could turn that toggle to the off position and I would not get emails for any classes that I'm enrolled in. But if I would like to receive things like, for example, I just want, if anybody mentions my name in a comment, I want to get a notification, you can select that, or you can go to the classes that you are enrolled in, and as a teacher, select from there which ones you want to keep and which ones you do not need to receive information from. So that's just personal preference, but I do suggest that if you're co-teaching with somebody and you're like getting a ton of classrooms. The other place that you can adjust your settings is if you're in the actual classroom, whichever one it is, and you choose this little gear icon up here. And this one is cool because you can scroll down here to the stream area and you can change the settings for both how much the students are contributing as well as what they're seeing. So I chose to click this little thing here that says hide notifications, and suddenly my stream was beautiful and it had nothing in it. And I was like, okay, perfect. If you want condensed notifications, I think that's what it's defaulted at, or you can have it like the full post. But I like the hide option because I just feel like it's just an announcement center. After you do that, you can just say, hi guys, this is what I'm telling you today, and then you can keep going or you can delete it. But for the comments option, you can make a post in your stream, which is that first page of Google Classroom, and you can have the kids either post their own topic with post their own announcement with an attachment, or if you don't want that much control to them, you can have it so that they're just commenting, or you can change it so that they cannot post or comment. I know I had previously some kids that were just like writing hi. So whatever, once you figure out how to use it, you can turn it on. But right now I have mine set, for example, in this classroom to just me putting my announcements for the day in the stream area. And then the kids can comment. So for like yesterday or whatever, a couple days ago, we were doing something for fractions. I put up a picture, the kids could look at it, see the question, and then they could answer what different fractions they saw within that set. And you can see that they can I can add a comment back to them, which sends them an email reminder to ask them to come back or whatever, and then they can see each other's comments as well. Hopefully still my volume is okay and everyone's still there. It's very weird. Okay, so the other thing that I was wondering about was, I felt like Google Classroom in terms of customization was very boring. And so I was wondering okay, how do I make a better backdrop? How do I change it up? How can I put some pictures in here? You have non-readers or kids who are just beginning to read, or just for me personally, I prefer to have some kind of a visual to quickly scan and see where my topics are or whatever. And so I finally realized that there are options for that. And one of those options is to use the Emojipedia emoji things. So when you're doing that customization in the settings bar, you can actually add emojis into any of the locations that you have text because they're set formatted to that same size. You can't insert a little icon, like you can't take a snapshot and then put it in there. It won't work. So the way that you get these emojis, I put a couple of notes here so that you can go back and check this, but you can go to Emojipedia and just copy paste whatever it is that you're wanting to put in there. There's a little box and you just copy this and then you would paste it in. That's kind of the long way. You can also choose to do the right click when you're in here. If you click on your right side of your mouse, you get a little menu and it says emoji. That's, again, a little bit slower. But what I usually do is I hit the Windows key on my keyboard with the period. It's kind of like Windows period, one after another. And you get this pop-up. And you can do this in any application that you're using. It's like universally available. But you just pick your icons and then they're gonna pop in there. Sometimes they look slightly different, which is weird to me. Like I see it here and then I see it on the actual setting and it looks a little weird. Like when I send an email, I notice that. But usually they'll just come up how they are. And that's how you would add any kind of icons you want into your class name, description, whatever. And since I have a description there, you see this little arrow pop up. That's because I have this little drop down here to explain what it is that this classroom is about, if you want to do that. You can also, though, choose to do those little icons in your topics. So on your classwork page, you have these topics and you can change the names at any point. Even if you've already created a topic, you just hit the little three-dot menu thing and click rename. And then you can add in here your emojis. So if you want to right click or Windows period, you can put in as many as you want. I haven't noticed that there's a limit, but usually if you have a really long title, it'll get to a point where it's just a bunch of like little dots. So I prefer to put less so that they can see the entire title name. But I was testing, I put like 25 emojis in one of them and I was like, okay, this is gonna go on forever. You can do whatever. So that's good for like if you're just trying to help the kids figure out where's the math subject, like where am I going? And you want to put a picture of something that would remind them of math. Oh, okay, so somebody's saying there's another emoji extension you can add on there. Yeah, I found one, but I'm sure that there's like a lot of better ones out there as well. But previously I had just had text, so I was like excited to have anything at all. Okay, what was I going to say next? Because I feel like I'm going to start to go out of order here. Oh, I will say though, if you're doing the emoji, this is one thing that I found helpful when you're doing this. If your keyboard is in Spanish or another language right now, like I always just toggle with my Windows spacebar between my languages. Initially, I was like typing in here in English, like I was like notebook, and then it wasn't coming up, and I was confused, and I realized that this is going to follow whatever keyboard you have set currently. So just switch back and forth. You can type in Spanish or whatever, and it'll search it. It's just named differently sometimes. And then if you want to customize your banner, that's the back part here. You can change your theme at any point if you decide you don't like the ones that already was there. But the other thing you can do is you can upload a photo. Now, this option I thought was going to be super awesome. However, the problem with this is that right now my banner is nice and bright. And when you upload a photo to do a one that you've created with your Bitmoji or your pictures of the kids or just an announcement of the day, you could change it every day if you wanted to. It's kind of a darker look. So I'll show you an example. I was trying to play around with it at one point and I made this ugly banner using shapes in the drawing tool. And I was like, I'm not a graphic designer. But let's see here. You can see what happens. You're going to have to select it. I think it's something like 1600 by 400 pixels in drawings, or you can do it in PowerPoint. But you just kind of crop it how you want it. And then once it's in there, you'll notice all of a sudden it's kind of like dimmed. So it's on the one hand, nice that you can personalize that if you would like to, and if you're better at designing things, or you put pictures into yours. But I personally feel like it's strange because it's just highlighting the Google whatever they've provided in there, and so it becomes dark. So it's up to you, but that's just one other customization option. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that. The next thing that I was going to tell you about was the organization options for tool topics. So in classwork, this next tab here, you have this option to create topics. And your topics are just groupings of whatever you're wanting to teach. But there's different ways you can do this. So I usually was doing it by subject area, which I think is pretty common for elementary. You can see like here it tells me, because I don't have any posts in this yet, this is actually not visible to kids. And if there was something like for speech, if that topic was created and shared with only certain students, then they're not going to see, the rest of the class won't see that topic, which is nice. When you're in the topic, though, you can always adjust where your pieces of your assignments are. So you can pull these things up and down, you can move them around, you can pull them from up here at the top. I have these like loose ones. You can just click and drag them into a different topic. You can also reorganize the order of your topics themselves. And you can do that by going up and down or just grabbing it and pulling it. So this moves, basically, is the big thing to notice. And then for these loose ones, you can't push them down, unfortunately, because they're loose. They are always going to just go to the top, but you can reorganize them up within themselves, like one above the other. Sorry, I'm having a hard time right now, but maybe you can't. Maybe that one is not. Never mind. I think that one's actually just by the date, but I put it in topics to get it out of the way. Another option for your topic organization might be like something I was attempting this week was like a weekly topic, because we're doing distance learning. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll just put them all in one spot so they don't have to go, okay, now it's math time, I'm going to go to the subject, now it's reading. This is just the stuff I need to accomplish and be able to access this week, because again, you can just pull them around as you want manually. Another option would be if you want to organize it by unit. So if you have like a science module, if you're doing mystery science, you might want to do like module 1, 2, 3. Maybe you want to make multiple classrooms. You don't have I don't think there's even a limit on how many classrooms you create. So if you wanted, you could make a classroom for literally every single child, which would be horrific, but you could. You could do it for a group. You could do it for, I'm going to make a math classroom. I'm going to make a reading classroom, and then I'm going to add my co-teachers. If you're a dual language classroom and you want to have access to both, maybe you make one that's just like your Spanish classroom and one's your English class, whatever. There's lots of possibilities. But I will say that one thing to notice about is when you add a co-teacher, that person then has access to all of the files that are within your Google Drive about this classroom. Because you may have noticed up here, there's this little button for a class drive folder. Everything that you post in the classroom is going to go into that class drive folder. And it's nice that when the kids make a copy of things, it's auto going to be named as their name dash whatever the title of the assignment is. But it can get a little overwhelming if you are doing a lot of that, and your class drive can get pretty large. So like right now, if I click on this, you'll see that it directs me into my drive, and it's going to bring me to a folder that was auto-created. I did not touch this. Google did this. And it organizes it by the name of the assignment. So at the beginning of the year, when we were doing this like introducing ourselves type activity, the kids each clicked on the make a copy version of the assignment, and it auto-generated their name and the name of the thing. And then I can go in here if I want, I can view all of their presentations from within this folder. That's another way I can get to those things. Even if, and I did, deleted already the actual assignment. So I don't like it to get too full of stuff for the kids because it becomes overwhelming. You can choose to click the bar, delete the entire topic. You can delete the assignment. You can delete whatever. Any work that you have done, though, will still be in your Google Drive folder for Google Classroom. So you're not going to lose that work just because you delete it from the class view. The same thing with archiving any of your Google Classrooms. You can always go back and see all of your archived classrooms if you have deleted them and you want to go back and see what there was before in there. Anything that's loose, though, like if you upload a PDF or an image, those things are going to be down here, and you can rearrange this, but Oh, there's a templates folder in there too for everything that was like your originals you put in, and that is auto-generated as well. Let's see here. So then after the topics, one other thing to notice that I think is really cool and helpful, you can choose to just have like one section showing for the kids. Like if they click on these sidebars over here, it takes them to just that topic and just those assignments. You can share a link to a topic. So I can click this, choose copy link, and then when it's pasted into a new tab, if I attach it to my lesson plan, it's going to direct the kids to a page of my Google Classroom that is just that topic. So let's say you're working with second graders and they don't manage this super well and you just want them to be at that page. You can send them just that link. Another thing you can do is click this dot, choose to copy the link of the actual assignment. And then when they click on it, it's going to direct them to a page that has just the assignment. So this is great for like, don't get distracted. You're just going to click on this assignment. Another thing about this is that when you're in this view, they'll notice that they have the option to add class comments, which you can adjust as well. But I have it on so the kids can write a comment or I can write a comment and then they view it. The thing about commenting that's cool is that anytime that you're working with the kids, you also have private comments going on with them. So if I have a specific assignment that I want to say like, hey guys, you need to, or whatever to a specific kid, you need to work on some page of this. Like we were doing something the other day. What was I doing? Oh, we were doing this journal. You can see how there's a button here that says how many kids have turned in, assigned, returned, and it says view assignment. So if I click on view assignment, it's going to bring me to this other menu, right, of the student work. And this was set as make a copy. So every kid's work is in here and sorted by if they've turned it in, which I keep telling them not to, and they keep turning it in. So I have to return it to them because once they submit an assignment, they can't edit it anymore until I return it. But you have this little option to choose a child, their journal, whatever. And when you open it, there's the drop-down box here. And you can kind of scroll quickly through different kids if you want to, or you can say like, I want to be on a certain page, and then you can click this arrow to just go back and forth in the list. But that's the way you don't have to open every single assignment. And this view looks a little funny because it's just going to be for seeing what they're doing while they're doing it, even if they haven't turned it in. So I always just told them, don't even bother turning it in, you guys. I can already see everything. You don't have to send me anything. I've got access, but they still get confused, so whatever. You just push the return button if they submit it on accident, and then they're going to get a notification that they have it again, which means they can edit it again. Now on the side here, you see there's a private comments area, so I can write something and the kids can write back to me, and that's just going to be between the two of us. No other kids are going to see that from our class. But if we are in the instructions page here, the kids and I can both write comments, but that would be for the whole class to view. So if they have a question, they could write that. If they have a comment, whatever, they can put it there and somebody could answer it. And let's see here. So I think I don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna maybe skip over a little bit of, there's so many things. You can schedule things, you can draft your things, you can have like all of your assignments drafted at the beginning of the year. If you want to make a copy of your actual classroom because you liked what you had in it last year, you can make a copy from the main menu of your dashboard classroom, and you can choose to click copy it. And then every assignment that you've created in there will be generated. So for example, I made a copy of this classroom here, and it says copy of, but it has no students because it just copied the assignments. Anything in your announcements stream page won't be there, but the classwork will. And then it's all going to appear to be a draft. So this is the same exact classroom. I just had a copy made of it, like I did this today actually. But you can click on here and then actually post it when you're ready throughout the year. So if over the summer you want to preemptively prepare things in your classroom, you can have them in there as drafts. The kids will not see anything because it doesn't have a real post in it yet. And then as you're ready, you can start to click and post and assign things to the kids. So that's nice if you like to prepare a little in advance with different topics. Also, I wanted to make sure that I shared to you guys this really cool thing about this extension. And I was just talking with Alicia about this yesterday because I know personally, I thought that this little button here was just a way for me to go to classroom quickly because I ignored the rest of it. I didn't even pay attention. I just thought, okay, open the classroom, whatever. Whoops, I opened it into the wrong page. Let's see. So when you click on this button, there's actually going to be a list of all the classes that you're teaching and enrolled in. When you click on one of those classes, like the one that I'm teaching, you have an option to push. And I was always like, what is this? I don't get it. Well, we experimented and it works. It just doesn't quite work with, I thought it was going to work with co-teachers as well, and I was worried, but it didn't appear to work when Christy, I tried to make her check, and she said nothing happened yesterday. So I'm thinking it doesn't really work with the teachers. So what happens is I can be on a page, like, for example, let's say I'm just like at Mystery Science, and I want to send every kid in my class that page that I'm on, and I want that page to automatically open in their browser. Like, I'm going to force it to open in a new tab. You have the power to do that, which is kind of frightening at the same time, because like, I don't actually click something and send them the wrong thing. If you were in your, like a document, and you accidentally shared it with kids, it's going to ask you if you want them to view or edit, so you'll have a second chance to catch yourself if you do that. But let's say that I really want to mess with my kids right now, and I click on this mini lesson, and then I click on the button here. I could push this to them, even though we're not like at school together, and they're going to receive this as a tab opening if they're active on their computer. So I have this little GIF, whatever you call it, thing here that shows how it works that I was going to show you too. So let me just refresh. Not going to show up right. Let's see here. In case you're like, what are you even talking about? All right, so this is from the Google website, but they have, you click it, push, and every kid enrolled automatically is being pushed to that website at the same time, if they're active. And it opens a tab in a window. So yesterday we tried it, and they also have the ability to push anything back to you, but it will not automatically open. They don't have that power. So the nice thing is, if you're together and you just want them to be on the right page, you just click it, push it, and everybody's on there. If they push it to you, you only have a small window of time to actually notice it, which is why I've literally never noticed it. But down here, it tells me what I've received from kids in the last like 18 hours. Now, I did notice that I had 2 yesterday because I was clicking on this, and it was just like the kids had pushed me the day plan back to me. I'm sure it was accidental, you know, but once you train them to do that, if you want them to see something, you could. I think it's more useful just though for the teacher's view, like, bam, you're looking at the page I want you to be on. You can see which ones you've already pushed to them. Again, it says 18 hours, but honestly, I swear I did this last night. It's already gone. Last night I was practicing, and you can push, for example, like this website for this math. Oh, I think it keeps opening up a tab in the other window. You can push a website like a math learning page, and it's going to pop up, which I put some pictures in here of the process to try to explain that better as well. But here's the app. Then when I push the button for that classroom, it says pushed afterwards. I don't know if you guys can even see this. Let me try to make that a little bigger. It'll say pushed with a check, so you know it worked. And then every kid's getting it, but I can go back and check what did I push to them previously, and you can see a list of everything that you've pushed to the kids and that they've had open. Now they can close it at any moment, but they're going to get it. So maybe try that Google Hangout. Yeah.
Nicole, because I'm enrolled in your class as a student, you know, in your practice GC class, I just pushed a link to you. So I don't know if you can go into your practice GC classroom and see if you can see that I pushed a link to you.
Yes, so I can just go up here to the practice one and see received. Thank you very much. And it says one new, and then it has Alicia's name and whatever she pushed to me. So I can click on that, and it'll open up a tab for me to view what it is that she just pushed me. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, so again, like you saw, it doesn't open up my window. It just gives me a notification, but it would open up the kids' window. Let's see here. So then I was going to also, I know it's 10:30, so if you want to peace out, I understand, and I will send you the class code to look into that other code. But is that okay, Alicia, if I go for a little a few more
Yeah,
minutes?
you can go as long as you're able to, Nicole, and people can linger
Okay.
or head out if
I was
they
gonna
need
say,
to.
as soon as the room's empty, just give me a shout, like there's nobody here.
I am going to drop in the link to the sign-in sheet again, just in case anybody missed it.
Oh, I didn't even check the questions. I'm sorry. Was there questions? Oh, no, there's not yet. Okay, good. Feel free to say, I don't know, what are you talking about? Okay, so let's see here. Now that I have a second to try to do some other things. I was going to show you guys maybe something about like actually creating what your options are in Classroom to make an assignment, because this extension thing is super cool, but it's just one option of many. You can also choose to, I mean, when I was doing this initially, I was just making everything an assignment. I didn't get what the difference was. But then I realized that there is a difference. So when I'm in this view of my classroom, you can click on this create button, and the drop down you get has a few different things. The assignments are going to be something that the kids are going to click on, and you can either have them view, edit, or make a copy, but that's something that they can click turn in. I think it says turn in on their view, or hand in or something. And that would give you a notification it's done. A material is just a placeholder of a website that you want them to have access to, like Raz-Kids. I just have it in there as a material forever because we're going to use it multiple times throughout the year. It's not for a specific time period. I can, you can put a deadline if you want. You don't have to though. But an assignment, usually that's going to add something like to my gradebook view. So I don't really use the gradebook, but you can go in your, you can assign points, you can make quizzes and have them automatically import grades. You can adjust tests to be a weighted grade. There's all kinds of stuff. It's probably better for middle school. This grades tab is the one tab that my students don't have on their view. This is the only difference between my class, like from this front view, my class and a student's class, is that I have the grades tab. And you can see some things have due dates and some don't. You can see who was assigned it, who wasn't assigned it. And then you can actually manually override the grade in here also if you want, or whatever, return it, view what they did. You can also choose a specific kid and see their entire history. So I was trying to make an example of that with one of my students here. I put some pictures in the presentation if you want to look at it later. You can click on an actual kid and see everything that you've ever assigned them and what they've turned in if you tell them to do that, or what they just have assigned to them still. And then you can click on any of those assignments and view the details of it. So for example, here, this one wasn't actually, this was just a link. They had to go do something, so there wasn't one. But you can, the other view I had was of that journal. So everybody had theirs visible in there. And this is another way to send comments. So you can just add a private comment to that child about that assignment, or you can go back and click on their name and see everything that they've done. Let's see here. So when you're adding an assignment, I was wondering what this question thing was. So I did make an example one to show you guys in the demo class. This is the class I'll invite you to. The question has two options. You can do a short answer question or a multiple choice question. When you create a short answer question, you have the option for the kids to be able to see each other's responses and reply to each other, or you can have it so that they do not see anyone else's response. So if you wanted this, if you wanted to do like an exit slip even, you could make a question and have it viewed so that the kids cannot reply to each other and they won't see each other's answers, but every kid is replying in this little area. It's not going to make a form. It's not going to be a quiz. It's just a question that you have a quick check-in. So when I'm in my, here, I'll open up this so you can see what it looks like when I was creating. I push create question. And I put a lot of stuff in here to explain for when you guys are in here if you want to see it. You can put points or not, grade, whatever, due date. You put the question here, any instructions. I like to put the, I thought, oh, this would be a good place to put like a sentence frame or multiple sentence frames. You can add an attachment or a file. You could say, watch this video and then tell me something that whatever I don't know, whatever you're doing. But these little boxes here are where you're going to select whether or not you want the kids to be able to, A, see each other's stuff, and B, if you want them to be able to edit their answers, if they submit it and they want to change something. You can check or uncheck these options. If they have the option to reply to each other, then it would be something very casual that they could say like, oh, I agree with you or whatever, and have a conversation like that. So if you're looking for a way for the kids to be collaborating long distance, that's another option if you want them to reply to each other. The other option is to do a question for multiple choice. And for this one, you get an option for them to see the summary of the results. So I just, put a silly one in here about what's your favorite book. And I have it selected so that you would see the summary of their answers if they chose fiction or nonfiction. Again, you can attach that something, you can tell them to go look at whatever, you can put something in there from your drive, view only. But once they have that view, they're going to get this little summary here. And they're going to see how many people responded fiction and how many people responded nonfiction. But you can add more than 2 options for the answer. You could have a whole list of them. And then again, if they want to ask like a question to this, they would have to click on the button they have here. I think it maybe says the same thing for the kids, but anyways, their view though looks like this. So they have the question, the answer choices, and then they can add a comment if you have the permissions set for them to do the comments, which again was that little gear icon. So that's the question feature. And then there's also obviously the Kami thing that was like, yours might look different depending on what you have. So I was experimenting with Nearpod a couple of weeks ago, and it added this little thing in here for me to make an assignment through Nearpod. The other one I have is for Kami. But you might have more, you might have less. The original ones are the purple. So you get an assignment option, a quiz assignment, a question, and a material. Again, assignments are more like specific, handed in. Materials are like long-term. You also have the option to reuse a post. So this is kind of cool if you are using it for 1 year to the next, or you have multiple sections. You can reuse one from within, you can copy it, or you can choose one from another classroom. So right now I'm in my practice Google Classroom. I can, whoops, I forgot to push back. Push reuse. I'm going to go back here, and I can choose from any of my classrooms. Like for example, my one that I'm teaching with my kids right now. I can pick any post I've put in here with these kids, and then I can actually reuse that post in this classroom. Now, I, again, would think that this would be a good place for you to have a holding space classroom, which is kind of my practice one personally. So I usually work out of this with the kids, my kids over here. And then here, practice Google Classroom is where I hold stuff. Maybe it's future assignments. Maybe it's, you know what I did? I put all my kids' passwords in here because I was like, God, where's their password for Freckle and their Raz kids? And so I put those all in here. No kids are in this. It's just for me to have a quick place to find it. Also like instructional videos, whatever. That way I can repost this in the other classroom. It's just available if, again, you want to do any reposting from one class to the next. Let's see here. You also have this class drive folder. Did I already say this about the class drive folder? Did I show you what that looks like? I don't remember. Tell me if I already showed you this. I'm literally forgetting what I said. You can click on this button here for the class drive folder. It's going to direct you to your class drive of that classroom. My view is of all the kids' assignments. The kids' view is of all of their classrooms. So I also have the option to view my Google Drive folder as a student, and it would show me each classroom I'm enrolled in, what my assignments are. The other thing, if you're making a copy that's helpful, is that because it auto names it with the kid's name, you can search in your drive for a specific student. Like, I want to see all of this kid's work that I've ever had in here. I would just type their name into my search bar and it would come up because it was auto named with their name before the original of the template. Okay, I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to stop because obviously people have things to do. But I just wanted to say, I guess, again, that it kind of feels like advanced, but there are a lot of options for elementary in the Google Classroom because you can attach things like a PowerPoint, and even PowerPoint sounds, or a slideshow sounds intimidating, but there's all kind of features within slideshow. You can do a voice to text type typing with the kids. They can change the language. I made a little video for them. Even now, I was like, okay, click this, push voice typing, and then change it to Spanish, and it works. It's beautiful. You can do it also in like Google Docs, obviously, as well. Or if you are doing a presentation, you can add audio to your slideshow. So I recently realized that that was an option to insert audio, but you could, I was like, where's the audio? Like, where do I do it? There's a couple on the district approved website resource list, but at the time I just was like rushing. So I just chose one from the one internet, like a voice recorder place. And as I made mine, I just saved them to my desktop, uploaded them into the slideshow and deleted them from my desktop. But you just have to make sure that your settings on all those audio files are shared, or the kids are going to be like requesting access for every time you put a little audio button in your slideshow.
Also, really quick about Nicole, Google Slides just made it so that you can now, for the first time ever, insert audio. So you can now, I think, record audio directly within Google Slides. Like, you don't need a third-party tool to do that.
Oh.
It's brand new. It's relatively brand new. So now you can go to insert and in your slideshow and click audio, and that's like an option.
That's where I've been going, but maybe they added something to record. That's cool.
Oh, could
that would
be
really help. Sorry, I can stop now and we could check for any questions, or if there's something you want clarification on. Let's see here.
And this will be recorded. Somebody asked. Yes, this will be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel in the Tax Slams and in Google Classroom playlist.
Okay, good thing you remembered. I forgot. So I will share the presentation with you guys. I'll invite you to that demo class, and once we maybe turn the recording off, I'll send you the code. And then you can go in there and see the presentation. I'll keep adding things into that classroom, and you can use it as a student view. And then for stop getting notifications from every student. So on the settings bar of your classroom, you're going to have to click over here and scroll down to the bottom where it says settings. And then you're going to want to select which type of notifications you want to receive. So if you're getting them from kids, then that's something you're teaching. And you can see it's saying like late submissions, resubmissions, invitations, scheduled posts. Let's see. You can turn off a specific class as well. Like if you don't want to get any more notifications from those kids, you can just, like this is my classroom, I can just turn it off and I will not get any more notifications. Or you can choose specifically which pieces here you're getting from that classroom you teach. Does that make sense? Any other questions? You guys can speak if you would like, or I can stop presenting or whatever. All good?
Thank you so much, Nicole. This has been fantastic.
Okay, sorry, I'm like tangent city, but yeah.
Thanks, Nicole. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.